Hello and welcome to Concrete Mountain Scrap More with Brenda. I'm Brenda and we're here today with part 2 of our mystery sew along. And this is going to be a really fun little block to do or subunit to do. But first, the International Stitch Marathon is July 22nd. Your invitation and your Zoom links are listed in the show notes below, along with the free pattern here. Now, from last week, you have to learn how to make your templates, right, if you're going to do this. If you're going to do your foundation paper piecing, you just print off the right number that you have for this block, or the number that you need for the block. So, let's get to this right away. And this is going to be kind of a cute little block. But first, okay, the other thing is I would recommend people to buy this Trirex ruler. This is a perfect little 2 to 1 ratio ruler, and this is this unit is something I use all the time. Now I also understand there is a ruler that makes this shape, and I'm going to go find it and try and buy it and test it out and see if it really does work the way it does. But in order to make this shape work, you need this ruler as well. I don't know if you can see that, but anyways, come on in, we'll get to the sewing. Okay, so here's the templates that we made, and there's also the foundation paper piecing if people preferred. And I did it in all 3 scales, just, so that you would have, this little kite block or beam block or whatever it's called. Anyway, what we're doing right now is making subunits, right? So this is how the block is going to be sewn together, right? So this is that's how it's going to go, all right? Now, one of the things I am going to show you, and I'm going to try and show it to you here. I hope you can. When you put these together and you fold over those pieces, this has a little bit of a dog ear hangover, which is like real tiny little hangover from the template, or like when you're actually sewing the fabrics together. And this little angle here matches up. I don't know if you can, is it focusing at all? Probably not. Let's get this in front of a white piece. These match up. So let me just show you with real fabric here. So when I'm laying this down, okay, I've got just a little hair of a dog ear up here, and then this matches at the bottom, right, like so, right? So you can see that these two are actually, they match right up. And that's when you get these rulers, I mean, that's how accurate your sewing is. Now, I start with the chubbier end, and I always start to the right of the block. I mean, I could do this either way. Okay. And now whatever you do, don't be stretching them. Because that would be bad. That would be very bad. And I know. I'm just going to put 2 little pieces here together because I've got a bunch of little small crumbs beside me that are little rectangles that are someday going to become a crumb block. And I know you've asked me not to do that, but this thing gets sewn and sewn and sewn, and it's time to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently push this over. Now I finger press here, and I don't finger press hard. I do not stretch the fabric as I'm going, and I just do little bits at a time until I get to the end. Now you can use one of these. I think this is made by Clover, but I mean to press this out. But I mean I find this not as convenient at a sewing machine for some reason. My fingers are always close at hand. I always have to go looking for it. So now, when we lay this piece down, right, we need to have a little end. Oh, you can't see it. You need to have a little bit of a hair, like a dog ear, right here. And that dog ear almost matches up perfectly. Like the line would go straight across. So as you're squaring up your blocks. So now we're going to put this down, and we're going to try and meet this side, that little divot, that little edge right here that I said that was important to cut. We're going to try and meet it up there and try and meet it here. So this one I'm going to sew on the skinny end first and come up. And I am going to try and match my divots. There we go. Oops. Get that one there. And slowly up. Now, the other thing you got to do with these blocks, as you're going through your scraps, and this is where I say, if you run out of scraps, and let's say you only want to make it a couple of colors, this is where you actually go through and say, okay, I'm going to make, you know, like 20 of these or 30 of these, or you have some rectangles and squares you got to cut, both in weights or the low volume and the colors, right? So now I'm just going to gently push this back, and there we go. And just gently finger press this back. Not, you know, you're not pulling and stretching, you're just moving that, you know, that fabric to lie flat, and that looks pretty good. But you're going to be doing some blocks. So if you picked the 2-inch scale, you're going to make 100 color squares, 100 rectangles in color, 100 white squares. So your 2-inch scale is your 2-inch squares, and your rectangles are 2-inch by 3.5 inch, right? Where if you're making a 2.5 scale, you're going to need 40 color squares, 40 color rectangles of, like, so your squares are 2.5 by 2.5, and your rectangles are 2.5 by 4.5. You're going to need 60 white or low volume squares, so that, you know, 2.25 squares. But if you're making the 3.5 scale, you only need 80 low volume squares, and that's 3.5 by 3.5, and 32 rectangles in low volume, which is 3.5 by 6.5. So there we go. Let's get to the big ta-da moment. Okay, so isn't this a cute little bean block for you? It's a quite darling little thing to work with. And I use these a lot when I'm doing asymmetrical blocks. I love designing asymmetrical blocks. And this is one that it's one of these blocks you always run to, you know, when you're designing. The other one as well is like a Tri-Rex block. That's what we did last week. Last video, and it's basically a pyramid with a wing. I don't know if you can see it really well, but I am going to put in the show notes where to get these on Amazon. I don't have an affiliate link. I'm not making money off of this. I'm just telling you, I reach for these lots and lots and lots in my sewing room. The other thing is the Marty Michelle ones. Now, this is that pyramid thing that we did last time, and her stuff just lines up beautifully. It's good quality plastic. I mean, I have never had a complaint with anything that I've used of hers. I unfortunately only have like the one set. The other one is like, this is the one we did this week, and of course, you know, you've got the two little sets, and it just works just so slick. Everything just lines up perfectly beautiful, you know, like either one of these. And there is a ruler that will make this shape or this shape, right? So I'm going to check that out too for you guys and see if I can't find a link for it somewhere, and I'll put that in the show notes. But I haven't tried that one. I don't own it, but I will. So I'll show you it. Now, also in the show notes are going to be all the squares and rectangles of colors and background that you're going to need to be cutting too, because that's also the next block, right? That's going to be like, you make 4 subunits, or, you know, like basically 4 subunits, and then you start sewing them together. So this is kind of like, we're on part 2. So part 3 is the next one we drop, and then part 4 is all these little subunits where you need all these rectangles and squares. So come on back. We'll get this all figured out. The International Stitch Marathon is July 22nd, 2022. It is, I'm so looking forward to this. We've assembled quite the crew of people on YouTube that would love to talk to their viewers and love to answer your questions if you have any. The last Stitch Marathon we had, I don't know if you attended or not, but wow, did we have fun. There wasn't a lot of questions asked, but there was a lot of giggling and a lot of, just having fun and, getting to know each other. I mean, we as quilters, we come together and it's kind of a natural community that we develop very quickly. Like when you start talking to other quilters, I mean, right away, who's your favorite fabric designer? What's your favorite pattern? You have a whole whack of questions and you're looking for things that you have in common right away. And it doesn't matter that they do things differently because they make quilts. It's wonderful. So this is something you gotta, try out. Come check out. If you're, hopefully you have a good Wi-Fi. If you don't, go to a girlfriend's house who does and join us from there. It'll be fun, So anyways, we would love to see you then. I hope you have an absolutely fabulous week ahead. And that you win Bobbin Chicken every time, because I haven't won Bobbin Chicken in a very long time. I won it once this week and I won it by like 3 inches, so I was happy. And if you're wondering what Bobbin Chicken is, it's where you're almost running out of thread on your bobbin, but you've got like just one more seam or one more seam and one more seam. You want to see how far you get before you actually finish something and not sew air. But anyways, you have a wonderful week. You take care. Okay, bye. My husband and I would like to thank you for watching today. We're so happy about the way our channel has grown, and we just want to wish you so well in your journey along with us. Please like, share, and subscribe, and tell your friends. Now, the next thing is this quilt. We are wondering if you guys would like this quilt as a free sew along on this channel this fall, this coming fall, winter. We were kind of thinking that this one would be really fun to do. We could do it in a larger size or a smaller size, it's up to you, but this one was a lot of fun to make. And it lends itself to being hand stitched, but you can also do this on a sewing machine as well. So let us know in the comments below. Remember, share, like, subscribe, tell your friends. Okay, have a great week ahead. Bye!